I think in Bulgaria, the trust doesn't come so easy. Two big assignments coming to Bulgaria. One is to achieve growth, and the second is push for digitization of our business. It's not just, it's an easy change the paper to plastic, because the entire ecosystem behind changes, right? That requires another organization, new competencies, new people, the whole DNA of the organization, the company changes. This is the method developed by Google. First of all, there's a huge ecosystem, super complex, interconnected, evolving product, evolving market needs, which you need to respond to. And that doesn't sound very easy, right? Then we have to also accept the failures, right? So there are some failures, but if it's within this aspiration, once you do something at a really high operational excellence for 20 years, someone comes and wants to bring something new, it's difficult to adopt, because I know my job. Why should I change? Because if you wait too much, or you hesitate too much, you don't go left and right, and just stay where you are, then the change will come and you're absolutely off guard. And I remember very well, and you did it very well, that we were shooting out problems, it was flying in the air, and no one captured it.
We are super honored because today our special guest is Gabor Olajos, who is the CEO of one of our clients, Pluxee Bulgaria, previously known as Sodexo. And welcome, Gabor. We are very, very thrilled to have you here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the invitation, and hi for both of you.
So tell us a bit how, as far as I understood, in Hungarian you should be Olajos Gabor.
In Hungarian,
it's
I'm not Gabor Olajos, I'm Olajos Gabor, because we have the family name always first.
Mm-hmm. So
Japan is the other country like this,
maybe.
having the family name first, and
Should we say Gabor-san? Because
could be.
because in Japanese they always apply san in the end.
But we know each other for a while, so it should be fine. Without
Exactly. So what bring you here? How did you appear in Bulgaria, and how you ended up with being a CEO of Pluxee? What's your story?
So I arrived a bit more than 2 years ago, in 2021, and I've been taking over the CEO position from that moment on. Before that, I was 5 years in Romania, so it's not my first assignment. So at Romania before, and I worked for Sodexo/Pluxee the previous years in Hungary. So this is my journey, and now I'm here. And I had actually two big assignments coming to Bulgaria. One is to achieve growth, and the second is push for digitization of our business, because in our business, Bulgaria was one of the last stronghold for the paper, which, not so much as a modern media for our business, for our vouchers.
And your actually deep expertise is coming from sales, right? So maybe today we're going to discuss also how to get some business and clients, because sales is a crucial thing for every business. Without sales, you're
Absolutely.
nothing.
We have 20 years of experience in sales, so that's my main discipline, if you would like to have it like this. And I'm CEO for Pluxee for the past 2 years.
And to be honest, you acted as our sales mentor or coach a couple of times already. So to sum it up, you were working in Sodexo/Pluxee for years. You come from Hungary, you were in Romania, and now for the past couple of years, already 3-ish years, you're in Bulgaria. And this is because the CEOs of the company are rotating, right?
Yes, in Bulgaria's case, I also had a predecessor who was here, I think, for 5 years, and then the assignment expired, and I came, and I'm mid-term of my.
This is very interesting approach for Pluxee in general, because actually in many companies we've seen, even in our experience, when people are changing on the top levels, usually there are some distractions, people are going through changes, reconstructions of the organizations, and you do it on a regular basis. So first, what's the meaning behind this, and what are the benefits?
The benefit is when you bring someone from outside, you expect something, to move the business in a certain direction with a certain expertise. I've been in Romania for 5 years when Romania went through the same kind of transformation from the paper to the card. So throughout my 5 years, I was like helping that organization to transform from the sales perspective. But Romania is very big for Pluxee, so we have significant larger business. We are highly regulated, so it doesn't work like, let's say, the chocolate business. Then more Germans eat more chocolate. So in our business, not necessarily those countries with the high population are the largest within the organization. So it's a bit different. So this is the meaning behind. So, probably the management wanted to bring someone with this kind of experience and move digitization in the country. And, I'm happy to say that today we are on this journey. You guys know it very well, and probably we'll discuss about it. That we are in this transition period and really have to go digital by June with a major product.
Let's give some context to the audience. Maybe not everyone knows your business. So I'll try to explain it. You're going to correct it. So when you said from paper to digital, it's because actually Pluxee, and before that Sodexo, it's one of the leaders worldwide and in Bulgaria as well, mainly known for the food vouchers.
Exactly.
And they kind of became digital, from paper to digital, regulated, you said heavily regulated by the law. So basically, by the law, you were given, as far as I know, you were doing that in paper for the last, I don't know, 5, 10,
20 years.
20 years. And now they told you for 6 months you need to go digital. Afterwards, the paper business is over. So you need to really transform. That's where I started with. It's not just transformation because of the transformation. It's kind of showstopper for your business. If you don't transform, you close the windows. That's it. So yeah, exactly. And so this is the context. But let's start with the previous stuff. So when you came from Romania to Bulgaria, what did you see different? What
did you expect?
Yeah, what did you expect, and what was your reality check here?
What did I expect? It's hard to go back 2.5 years, but I knew that it was a paper business, so that defines a little bit the organization, the ways of working, the thinking. It's nothing wrong with it, right? So it demands a certain approach. Digitization, when it happens, even in our case, when you change the paper to card, I learned it in Romania that it's not just, it's an easy, okay, you exchange the paper to plastic, because the entire ecosystem behind changes, right? That requires another organization, new competencies, new people, the whole DNA of the organization and the company changes. So that I was aware of. So when I came to Bulgaria, I kind of knew what to expect because I had this experience from my previous life with Sodexo. And also there was another aspect which you guys are aware of, that we were part of Sodexo, which is a massive organization, 430,000 people worldwide. We were called Benefits and Rewards, a small business within this huge organization, because the base was catering, facility management, remote site management. That's the core business of Sodexo. And then now, from the 1st of February, we were kind of, it was a spin-off, and our business was put on the stock exchange and also changed the name to Pluxee. So this is the basis. Mm-hmm. So now it's kind of officialized that we are a single business line. We are on our own, and from the 1st of February, everyone can buy shares. By the way, if you want to.
Okay.
So now we are on the Euronext Paris. So this is what happened, and the expectations again when I came, more or less I knew from my previous experience what I will find here, and this was actually the situation.
So a bit fast forward when you came to Bulgaria, and what the situation was in the company, like let's say 6 months ago, is that you faced the digitalization in Bulgaria because the law changes, and the company changed its name and its branding. So it's two big major changes
in the same
all
time.
together in the same
Yes.
time, which is
Yes.
making the situation even
Yes. And
More
on top of it, on the IT infrastructure, we're part of a big organization, so you have to do an IT carve out in the same time. So it's on top of not on top. Actually, that's the base layer, right? So it's super complex, and it still is, honestly.
And to say it, you actually did it. So
It's on the way. We can claim that we did it when we closed the transformation and we migrate our clients from the old product to the new product entirely. But we have a living product, so this kind of preparation paid off in this way that we can start and serving our clients with this new experience, right? Because for them it's an experience. For me it's a product. For them they want to offer the same in a, basic expectations you need to reach.
Okay. Let's give some maybe lessons learned, because we really try to give useful content. That's why people will subscribe. For example, because you come here from Romania to Bulgaria, what are your first steps when you enter new office, new people? Maybe you are aware with what's going on in general because of your experience, but since still they are maybe a bit different as a culture. What do you do first?
So that's for me, if you're Bulgarian and you switch company, you understand the culture. You don't even know that you understand how people behave. When a foreigner comes to a new country, and I had this from Hungary to Romania, and now Romania to Bulgaria, the same actions trigger different reactions in different cultures. You communicate differently. You approach things differently. I have many ideas on this. It's also connected to the language and so on. So first of all, of course, I need to understand the business and then understand the culture, the people, what's important, how to motivate them, how to work together with them. And it is a process. It's more or less 3 to 6 months. Your concept of money is different, right? So imagine I come from Hungary where we have everything is in millions. You go to Romania when it's hundreds, and in Bulgaria, tens, because the exchange rates are different. So first of all, it's also very important when you look into figures. You need to really absorb and understand it, to look at it many times, and also we are highly regulated, so you need to understand this kind of context. And so on. So this is, let's say, the first 6 months, and then move on the next.
Can you give us like a walkthrough, like a couple of steps, maybe if, for example, me or somebody from the audience who is now liking the episode is going to face this anytime soon, being a new manager somewhere, what to do?
I don't know if I can give really this kind of guide steps, but my way is always we are a commercial company, right? So depends on what you do, because if you're a production what's the profile of the company? We are a commercial company, so first of all I always like to plus some sales. So I understand the top line, like volumes, revenues, a P&L, right? And then what gives you growth, what's not, where you lose money if you lose money, what is the real revenue stream, what are the opportunities in the market, what's your market position, where can you grow, and so on.
So you look at the data.
Yeah, first look at data, but since I'm commercial,
you look at the commercial side.
The commercial side, because we are a commercial company. If it's production, you probably look at efficiency, or where you lose money, where you can, technology and so on.
It's a nice story, just to tell you that our experience is actually even in the non-commercial, let's say, production organizations, it's still the same. We have one story. Bogoy that was like maybe 10 years ago, was working in a new company, and he was having some issues with the team, struggling with the organization. He was discussing with a very experienced coach. I have this and this problem, and blah blah blah. They don't want to do that. We struggle with this. And her first question was, "Does the team deliver?" Let's start with that. Do they deliver? And the answer was yes. And then she was, then you need to be more calm. and so and so. If they don't deliver, so again, it's commercial. The first thing that you do, you look at. Even in this case, it's money, but it's do they deliver? Do they manage to produce the product that they are supposed to do? And if they do, you do one thing. If they don't, then you need to.
So what situation you come in? Because if it's crisis, like the company is losing ground, losing revenues, whatsoever, it's a different. You need a different touch. In my case, it was not. So the team was delivering, but number one. So after understanding this, I also looked at the team. Okay, do they meet expectations of today? And if we go to another trajectory, well, who is future-proof or who's not? What's missing from the organization as competencies? And which direction should we move? Because I was quite convinced that we will achieve digitization. It's like, it was almost 100% that we will go digital at a certain moment. Yeah. Because, as I said, Bulgaria was the last country. If not as fast as it happened, but 1 or 2 years later, it would have been impossible not to. So that was quite obvious for me that I need to prepare the organization for this digitization. And it started somewhere, like setting the right goals, ambitions, because we didn't touch the regulation, but we are in a very unique environment in our business with food vouchers because we have a quota system. So you don't sell as much as you want, or you can, or there's a need on the market. There's a cap for the industry and also for the issuers, for the company. And then you are being licensed by Ministry of Finance, right? So imagine even today, if all the top companies in Bulgaria want to come to me and buy from me, I can't serve everyone. And now we had a very preferable change from 1st of January to this cap of the issuers was increased significantly, but there's also an annual cap for the entire industry. But last year, since mid-year, I couldn't sell more. So if someone wanted to come, I should have let someone go.
This is legal limitation.
This is a regulatory limitation. Yeah. So that was like also when I mentioned at the beginning, growth and digitization. So there was the step number one. You need to induce growth because once you have growth, then you can also invest. Without growth, it's very difficult to invest unless you want to use the shareholders' money to do that. But in that case, so that was the healthy step number one, that we achieved some increase in the quota, which then we captured the growth very fast, very well among competitors, which brought more money to us. Then we were able to invest. And then digitization is the next step, is changing the kind of the whole industry. So it's not only our life, but everyone else is having the same management nightmares, I believe. So I don't think that the fellow CEOs are sleeping very well. Everyone has a lot of things to resolve when they wake up. So
I wanted to summarize what you said about the strategy when you come. You look at the data, commercial part of it, etc. But what you explained basically is that you start with a vision. You have the vision. You know that digitalization is coming. You don't know when exactly, but you know it's going to happen anyway, sometime in the future. And then you start preparing the organization towards this vision.
This is what happened, actually. This is what happened. So we used this OKR methodology, or I used this OKR methodology and pushed through the teams where...
Just to explain, OKR is standing for objectives and key results.
Exactly. This is the method developed by Google and also by a Hungarian guy, to be honest.
By the way, if you're new to objectives and key results, we're going to post some resources in the description of this video so you can educate yourself. It is a very, very cool technique to use to set goals and track progress towards
streamline the strategy.
And read the book, measure what matters. I know that you partially agree with the content, not? I know, but it's a good start.
Book. It's a good start. It's a good story. But for the audience, just to mention again, the book is called "Measure What Matters" by John Doerr, who is the father of the OKRs, created in Intel. not in Google. In Intel.
Yeah, but
in
used by Google.
80.
But in Intel, it was created by a Hungarian guy, by the way.
Oh, okay.
It was popularized by Google. Yeah, that's
And then John Doerr went to work for Google.
Yeah.
And then he introduced this.
Indeed.
But the key part here is that objectives and key results evolved. So the initial version of them used in Intel is not the same version that is being used right now. So that's why when you say the book Measure What Matters, John Doerr explains how they use them in Intel.
Yeah.
And that's why we sometimes disagree with the text there, because it's not the same now. So that's just
you need to adapt to the current situation.
Exactly.
It's clear, and also what we use is we don't go by the book and by the rules. We adapt to our situation. But what's most important in that for me is that imagine you've been doing something for 20 years away, and you need to. I need to move you out from that context. And I want you to think, because I just explained how many limitations we have, right? So you want to sell more, you can't. You want to invest more, you can't. And now growth comes, and you can go beyond.
Yeah.
And this is what OKR helps you, the OKR methodology, to set your ambition, to be ambitious, to make you think ambitious, and to kind of transfer the way of thinking. And I think, and you can, once I give this to my team, then everyone pulls to the same direction. So we only think within this. I don't want, left and right. We set what's important for the company. And that actually happened after I did it 3 months after my arrival. And we took some actions which also were future-proof. So we only collaboratively started to think to direction which was future-proof, which prepared us also for digitization. And actually, this is how we got in touch later on.
Again, to explain more, maybe a bit more, some details for the audience. So for 20 years, you were paper product manufacturing. People were totally...
With high operational excellence.
Yeah, exactly.
High customer satisfaction.
But people were really dealing for many years with logistics, with production, manufacturing stuff. And now they need to go, and you had this vision, you knew that's coming, to a digital company. Now they need to deal with online payments, with banking services, with credit cards.
With continuous improvements. Okay, because
exactly,
when you have a paper product is being produced, you deliver, and you close there. But here in digitization, the entire ecosystem, first of all, there's a huge ecosystem, super complex, interconnected. Evolving product, evolving market needs, which you need to respond to. And that doesn't sound very easy, right? And,
I'm sure the people even don't know. Every time when you pay with your card, like on a post terminal, like 10 different systems around the world are synchronizing, receiving signals, providing signals to another system. It's a bunch of stuff happening just with one touch to your post terminal. And now you need to do all this stuff with all your experience from paper, I mean, in terms of the context. And what you started with is the OKRs, which is the vision, alignment in terms of what we want to achieve, as you said, as future-proof.
It's an aspiration. Goals. So it helps you to aspire. And don't underestimate that. Because, if you think of, you want to achieve 100 and you shoot at 100, it's... probably you tackled it in your podcast, you will reach 60, 80, something. But if you shoot a little bit higher, you might reach that 100 or even beyond. And and we were also wrong with our ambitions. We believe that we are super ambitious, and then we realized that 70% is achieved. So we're not so ambitious, so we're a bit shy. But it's fine, you start somewhere, and then, you grow into this.
This is the way to grow. You need to put stretched goals and objectives. If you put just too conservative ones, you never grow, right?
And also I liked it, after a while, people really started to have a good taste of it. And I explained to them that if you set this to your department, your own objectives, it's going to be your vision. You can explain what your vision as a department leader for your people, so they can also get aligned, so they don't go left and right. They don't waste your time with ideas which are not on this path. And it worked very well.
How did the people take it? I mean, was it easy?
At the beginning, wasn't so easy
Mm.
because once you do something at a really high operational excellence for 20 years, someone comes and wants to bring something new. It's difficult to adopt because I know my job. Why should I change?
So was there resistance to change?
Of course, there was resistance to
Confusion?
change. Probably confusion with resistance. I think it goes hand in hand.
Mm.
But there was also a great amount of discipline, and that helped the team to overcome that. Okay, we need to do it, and they did it. Started to do it better and better and better, and and I think we were quite successful with it.
This is maybe the other positive thing of this technique, that it's actually cycled. It's you have a cycle of setting OKR. So the first time you do it, you learn how to do it not so well, but because it's a repetitive cycle, people are learning and getting used to it. And it's not like you put it
And improving.
for 5 years and you never actually improve. It's a fast cycle. So.
The first time we reviewed them on a weekly basis, and then after that we didn't need to do it on a weekly basis. And for instance, now we don't work with the OKRs at this second because I know it's enough to deliver this project. It's ambitious enough. It's a great aspiration. So, but I would say we will return to this once the MVP is being delivered and the first features are being, because we have, and it's funny that the vision we set, or I set, and then we work towards together is really happening. So if I also read through the OKRs, the objectives of that first 1 year and a half, we're really going towards that. So there's no deviation. And it also helped me to, you asked me, how was it coming to Bulgaria first time? I want to mention that, the most difficult thing was to gain the trust. You come from somewhere, you're a new guy, you come from another country, you might not respond with you don't give the right responses for the right, actions from the people because you don't understand them so well. But when these things started to happen, I guess there was a big transformation in their mind. So, I managed to gain the trust, and then, that helped a lot.
Is there something in the Bulgarian mentality that helped?
Yeah, I think in Bulgaria the trust doesn't come so easy, so you need to work for it. Versus Romania, where they're much more open at the beginning. But once you pass that, it's very disciplined. And in general, Bulgarians are very disciplined. That's what I like a lot. And when you have to deliver in such a short period, discipline is very important. That you keep the focus on the MVP scope, let's say, and we managed to achieve that.
Is it the trust into you as a person, or a trust in the strategy?
I think it's the person. Because I imagine, I don't know, like in a sport, or I create some tactics, but you don't believe it, and then you don't run as fast because you don't believe it, right? Just do it halfway, then you will not reach the attacker. You just 20 centimeters short of it, and the pass goes through, and you can't see the goal. So it's the same. So if there's no trust to the person who says it, nothing will happen. And it's difficult because you're new, so you couldn't prove, and that's where a bit of the discipline helped. The people did it, and then we did it somehow, and then we improved, and after that the trust was created, and then it was better and better and better.
Is it easier to get the trust because you're a foreigner, or the other way around?
I think it's the other way around.
Okay.
It's the other way around, because really I need to also understand the people. I don't underestimate that, which is normal, because maybe I'm too outspoken. Hungarians are very direct, in my opinion. It doesn't always help. I also have to mind my language, and I think different, right? In a way. Does it help when you create a vision? Maybe it's not general Hungarians, it's just me. It's always, because there's not a general Bulgarian, no one is average, right? You're always differ a bit left and right. When you talk about 1,000 people, then the averages come to play. But what I would say now, once we have, we passed this first kind of barriers, I find it very easy to work with the Bulgarian team.
Very nice.
Yeah, I see that you're speechless, so
I'm giving him the floor because I'm talking too much. That's why.
Okay. I was thinking that you have a follow-up question, but basically we've seen this when we start working with you, that initially there was a bit of maybe doubt why this is happening, why the transformation is needed. But we saw you that you showed multiple times that this is the direction, this is the right way to go. And you insisted in that, which I think was key. And we saw, because we worked with you, for the audience's sake, to know more than a year together with you and all the people in Pluxee. And we saw their transformation as well in terms of mentality, in terms of way of thinking about the organization and also about you, about how they perceive you as a leader. So it was a very interesting to observe.
I was thinking in the meantime retrospectively on this journey myself and also with the team. It's one way to put it. And the other way is that if someone reacts very fast on these, because it's another thing with Bulgaria, you don't get exposed because it's a small country, it's not so important. You are a sidekick of some other country, not there are no headquarters and not too many, right? So you don't get challenged so much, and it's not your fault. It's just a situation, right? So you don't get exposed to these challenges, so you don't know how to respond. You couldn't respond. And now when these challenges reach the Bulgarian team, they managed to respond. So it doesn't mean that, they had to grow from 1 to 10. Maybe their competence was already 8, but the challenge was at 2. So they just had to face the problems.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't need to grow into the shoe. They were already the challenge need to reach them, need to experience, give the right, and prove themselves, which takes time. And this is how I see it with many of my colleagues, that they were already there. They overgrown the company, I would even say that, or they overgrown the country. But, now the challenge is caught up with them and they perform super well.
Yeah.
But I mentioned the same with you guys in the context, right? That, if you were not Bulgarian, maybe, but you were Dutch or English or French, maybe you had a different trajectory, like in terms of references, because then you need some
always a challenge,
yeah.
Fortunately.
But this is what it is. We need to be successful where we are and, do the most out of the situation.
True.
Cool. I'm gonna give you a bit side question. You very often talk about with sports metaphors, and so I know you're coming from sports. So, what's your opinion? Are people that are coming from sports more, let's say, business successful, or?
I don't have the statistics, just my personal experience. So, as personal me as well, I played 30 years of water polo, which is a kind of a national sport in Hungary. But I find it easy to work with sports guys for me because, I know that kind of way of thinking or way of being. But people who know me, I always bring this kind of sport examples because I guess it's a huge comparison between being in a sport team or being in an organization. The only difference, which I always mention as well, that sport is much more honest, because can you score or not? Can you run it? Are you the fastest or not? There's not much talk
It's
about
transparent.
it. It's super transparent, super honest, right?
You cannot cheat that much.
No, you can't talk your way out. I would have won, but just to win, then it's for everyone, right? No matter whether you do an individual sport or a team sport. The team sport is, resembles better to a company because you have to work with others. There are some geniuses, in the football world who can, turn around the game, and they're also in the business world. But most of us, we are craftsmen. The most you can, you're a good craftsman. You do your job well. You I don't know, spend endless hours improving yourself, and then you get better and better with the age. Especially what comes from sports is consistency. You also mentioned that you've seen that many times we repeated, and it's consistency. So even if you do something good consistently, you will achieve faster or slower or faster, depends, but you will go there, you will reach there if you don't.
And you trust in the system.
And you trust the process, and you have a goal, you will reach that. So consistency is very important. Then sports, you have the focus, you task oriented. If you play in teams, you need to you learn how to cooperate with others. You know your strengths are. We talk about strengths-based management. In sports, it's basic. You use your strengths. You can also develop your weaknesses when you are, a child. But when you're 25, a footballer, you probably don't develop your left when you're on the right-footed, right? A bit late for that. So, and if you're a good right foot, then you try to play that, right? So these kind of things, so strength-based management is basic in sports, and I guess when you create your own team, you try to use the strengths of these people, and you can rotate them and give them new challenges based on their strengths.
This is actually very important because many people focus much more on the weaknesses of their team and their people, instead of focusing on their strengths and increasing the effect that they have. We've seen that in our experience, because we work with managers, they work with their teams, and super often they're focused on the weaknesses. This guy cannot do whatever, and they try to change it, except instead of forcing his.
There's a minimum.
Side.
If you don't hit that minimum, might be a deal breaker. But otherwise, if in sales, because it's easy for me, if you have good hunter skills, I don't waste you in portfolio management. If you're a farmer type, so you can nurture relationships on a longer term, and then you're a bit shy with reaching out to new people and get refusals, because you have to be very tough to get 20 refusals a day. But then if I don't burn you on hunting, I put you in farming, and then you do great job there. Or you're great sales, and I want to push you to people management, but you don't really you're not comfortable with it, or you can't pass that knowledge, or you don't enjoy leading people, then you shouldn't do this. Same for project management. Someone is enjoying reading details, or some just can't do that. So there can be other skills.
I have this friend of mine. I was working. Now we are very good friends, but when I met him, I was his manager, project manager, and he was the top performer of the team. He was the very senior guy, but he struggled with meetings. It was painful for him to participate in meetings, in long discussions, and the previous manager before me, he was trying to push him, and didn't went well. When I worked with him, he just told me in the beginning, Nikola, I'll take always the most difficult task. Just please don't push me to go too much into these discussions and blah, blah, blah. And we made this deal. I said, okay, that's fine. I'll tell you when I need you in some meeting. Otherwise, I'm not gonna push you at all. And he was driving the whole team, like the sports car,
Yeah.
And
That's also situation-based management, right? So you have a given situation, and the person performs very well. So why not? Sometimes also, managers have their ego. They need to control, need to be in charge, or you create processes that I feel it very weak when everything has to go through you, because otherwise your ego shrinks if you don't know everything. But I think it's the best is to see, for instance, the local Bulgarian team grow. If I create a pyramid where it's me on top and everything has to go through me, because then I feel better at the end of the day. But I don't really like this kind of details. Okay, things go well overall. I'm happy. And I'm happy if my team can resolve problems on their own, not need my okay for everything. It's super inefficient.
Super interesting that you say it, because we've seen plenty of managers out there who want to be the decision makers and signing off everything in the company, everything the team is doing, and actually people are afraid to make any step or any decision without having the approval. And what you're explaining is the opposite mentality, to enable people.
Yeah, empower them to make decisions, to give them even, I'm not saying that we're doing super good with this one, because we need to review this kind of approval levels, but even to have a budget, and within your budget you spend it. It's up to you, because then it's your responsibility. If I have to tell them what to do, it's my responsibility, and it's easy for everyone. This is what I think. You okay with this? And I say, okay, it's my decision, and no, I mean, you take it, grow up to this, and feel the shoes, and it will. And it also with that, then we have to also accept the failures, right? So there are some failures, but if it's within this aspiration, that's why it's important to have the aspiration. The people will know it better, so they will know when they step over that line or not. If it's not clear, then just it's 360, which way to go. If you at least shrink it a bit, and this is the highway. Can I test and learn and fail? Why not? Let's do it. I know.
Actually, we were witnessing this. Can you tell the story about the lady and the posting?
Oh yeah. Well, it's a minor story, but interesting to say. When we did the training for you back in the March 2023, we were making some photos during the sessions, and we asked a marketing lady to post it on LinkedIn, and she said, okay, I'm going to prepare the post, everything. And there was like 1 week passed by, 2 weeks passed by, and we checked whether there was a post, and there wasn't. And I asked her, hey, what's going on? Is there any issue, problem that we need to take care of? And she said, Gabor didn't approve it yet. And I asked her, well, actually, you were there in the room when I asked her. And she said, Gabor didn't approve it. And I said, okay, should we ask him right now for approval? And we went to you and asked you about this particular post. And you told her, why do you ask me? You're the marketing specialist. You have the power to decide. You don't have to ask me about such small things. And we saw that it was a moment of learning for her as well, and for everybody else, that your style differs from previous styles they've seen, that they are empowered to make such decisions.
Yeah. I mean, that actually describes very well, because this is exactly, it should be empowered to make the decision how a post should look like, how it should be. I'm not a journalist, text writer, I don't think that my wording is the best, or when they come with colors, I don't know. Should I know about colors or how?
Yeah, as we know this famous quote from Steve Jobs, you don't hire smart people to tell them what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You hire smart people so they tell you what needs to be done, which is different. I was thinking about that it circles back to gaining trust, right? Because you said in the beginning the biggest challenge is to gain trust from the people. And I believe one way to gain trust is to give it first, because you're trusting the team. You say, do it as you wish, as you think it's right. If you make a mistake, that's okay. You're going to learn from it. You're going to grow. And this is your
within those boundaries again, because you have to set those boundaries, but it has to be, I think, broad enough to give you some flexibility. And that's again, OKRs and this kind of controls can help. That's how data helps, right? Because if just you give, I'm not saying that they can do whatever they want.
Within the constraints.
We fix the rules, which we have to digitize. We need to have a competitive product, compelling experience. If we manage to deliver it, of course, because we didn't mention previously about the users. They don't act like, yeah, it's it's for the first product for Pluxee. It's okay to be not as good as Revolut. No, everyone expects Revolut experience or minimum the banking experience with the payments and so on. So no, I mean that you need to strive for, and then overachieve is again something. But you have to set the rules. But I like this kind of way. For instance, with the OKRs. So I experienced this in the past, and then also the data, the KPIs can help you. So you test and learn, but there's a benchmark KPI you want to achieve, and also helps the people. So I want to reach this one and try this. Did it bring me closer or not? If there's nothing to measure against, then it's quite difficult to say whether it was good or bad, right? So they have to provide this kind of measurement.
Yeah.
But it can be also in project management,
And this is I think the good salesman's approach as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. I like to have a plan which is not so agile, but I need some. When I have this vision, I like to have a vision, some kind of plan. Maybe it's not so agile, but if at least you have a plan, you know how to deter. I mean, what elements to change to have that trajectory, which the market maybe forces you towards.
This is what I was going to say, that because we're opening the topic about agile and business agility, and we've seen it and heard it. Some people thinking that we cannot be agile because we have so many constraints. We have regulations. Our business is very regulated. There are a lot of rules that we need to oblige to, etc. But actually, agility and that being agile means that you are 100% clear about the boundaries. Yeah. What are the boundaries? What boundaries are actually real and what boundaries are made up? Because it turns out, for example, this story with the lady thinking that she needs your approval is a boundary that is there, but actually doesn't exist. So one way is to make it clear what are the real boundaries, remove the fictional ones, and then create a plan for attack, right? And based on the learnings, based on what you do and what feedback you receive, you do corrections to that plan. And this is what we call business agility.
Yeah. If you don't have plan, that means that you don't know what you want to achieve. And it's super important when you talk about agile and business agility to have a plan. The only problem is to not get too much in love with your plan. When you see that your data, for example, shows you need to change the plan, you change it, because we've seen the other way around. We've seen people that stick to the plan.
I would
no matter what.
Different, too much pride around.
Exactly.
Because it was my idea, it was my plan. I love to death.
Yeah. And I'm not changing anything because I'm super smart.
For instance, I would never do this. That I love the plan just because I created it. If there's a better idea, let's go with it. Not against. But the best thing when people have empowerment, that they bring the plan which becomes yours. And then it's all aligned. Not like, because the beginning it was a bit top down, and now there are a lot of ideas which come from the team, and we just adopt to it, and that's it.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, I think we kind of covered this.
I just had one final question for these more broader topics. You said in sports you're not able to cheat that much, and I wanted to ask, what is it to be in a business that is, let's say, very close to politics, in terms of really count on them? Now they changed this; they almost broke the government, and this could really mess your business. So how you deal with that?
Now let's say on the regulatory level, we have a very healthy relationship. So I guess there's a good openness from the regulators. For instance, we worked with the ministry hand to hand to create our legislation. So it was really flawless procedure. And they really listened and incorporated our ideas coming from market. I don't know really if the many countries can tell the same story, that the regulator, the ministries, the governments were so responsive, and we lived through this, and they were very spot on. So So I give them 5 stars for that. And what was the other question? Sorry.
I mean, this is the question: how you run business in a domain or environment where you're so, let's say, dependent on the business, on political decisions sometimes.
Yeah, we explained our benefits, and since it's put it very simple, it's digitization, and the country is needing this digitization, and just digitize our environment is helping thousands and thousands of companies changing at least one benefit or one element of theirs to be digital. It might help them. It's one way, one area, and there are several areas where it will force out other digitizations. Plus, digitization is also transparency, right?
Yeah.
It's much more transparent. This money is, we issue an invoice. Merchants will issue an invoice, so it's also decreasing informal economy. Don't underestimate. Plus, it's a social benefit. So we talk about like payments, but in reality, it's a social benefit. It has a purpose. So the government doesn't give you this discount on taxes without a purpose. It wants you to eat or eat healthier or eat daily meals, and wants to support. On the other hand, let's say the local merchants would be the major priority. So it's a social benefit, very importantly, and then this is why it's regulated. Because it also comes with a benefit. And how we manage the stakeholders is that on the regulatory level, we explain, again, on and on and on why we exist, what is our purpose. And we're lucky enough to have good counterparts who are really open to listen and accept our arguments. And this is why we can thrive. But, I'm also a long time in this business. And the reason I stay in is because it creates win-win situations, win for everyone in the chain. So win for the clients, the businesses, for the consumers, for our merchant partners, and for us as well. So no, it's not something someone gets damaged in the value chain. So, but it's a major work because it's not a stable environment, right?
And there was no government back in the day.
Yeah, that was also very difficult.
Yeah. Okay. Let's then I suggest we go deeper into the transformation topic, because now I think we covered the origin story. Let's say, what were the challenges? Because in the end, you decide now we are transforming. Now we need to change the culture. We need to change the ways of working. We need to prepare. You said you're setting OKRs, objectives, vision aligned, everything. But then you turned to us to help you. What was the reason for that? Yeah.
Because once you have the objective, you also need to find a way to work towards those objectives. And, I found it is a major blocking point. And, then I come across Agile, and also a group works, this kind of IT or the payment or the technical teams with Agile. And I said, okay, let's prepare us. So I'm quite certain that we will face digitization. That requires to work with these teams. So I need to find a way where I can prepare my team, but without being on this path, right? So it was like let's do it as a prerequisite. And then I met you guys through a recommendation, and the first meeting I explained to you guys that I don't want just a training, because if you do a training, unless it's give you some specific knowledge, like it certifies you for something, or it's just going down the drain, the next day we go back the way we work. And I wanted to have a program, remember? And the reason we started to work, because you were coming with the same approach, that you think of a program. And that's, for me, was very critical, because I don't know how to do it. No one in the team knows how to do it, or maybe some IT or one, but it's not. They don't have that impact and influence on the organization that it goes through everywhere. So I wanted to have a program when this one is is kind of guaranteed. And this is how we started to work.
I have two takeaways from this part of the story. First is that when you're doing transformation, in this case, digital transformation, business transformation, you actually don't start with the technical part, you start with the people. So this is first thing. You started because you had like 6 months to implement it, but you started 6 months earlier in order to transform the people. In this case, to make them be aware with the IT ways of working. But we'll discuss later that actually they incorporated this in their work as well, in marketing, in sales, in whatever. And the other takeaway is that we very often talk with business and that they say we need agile transformation. But it's not the thing. You don't need agile transformation. In your case, you need to change your business, to transform the business, and agile is something that will support your people to be able to deal with it. Yeah. It's not the purpose to do agile. Even digital is not the purpose. The business is going digital, so digital is the tool for the product, and in agility the agility is also the
Nikola, I guess your two takeaways respond to two situations. So in my situation, I did things under my terms. So I knew what was going to happen, or I assumed what's going to happen, and I did some prerequisites to that, right? Without being on that path. And it was people transformation. The second one is you already have the tools, but you don't know how to operate them, right? Like you have the Vespas behind you. You never rode one. And you don't know the technical capability, so you don't use the tools and you don't use them efficiently. And that's the second case. Both can exist, and I guess the response is the same. It's just in our case, we if you remember, we started to work on a principal level. Yeah. Right. We had pilot teams and we imagined situation, and the main thing was there, I guess, which was the main takeaway for me on the agile is, and I think it's highly underestimated. That, and I remember very well, and you did it very well, that we were shooting out problems. It was flying in the air, and no one captured it. And at the end of the program, when there was a problem, was raised, someone took it. That was the transformation. Very simply put. Even if you have the tools. That can force out a certain transformation because you have to learn how to use the tools. Otherwise, you can close down the business, right? But you can do it better. And then you can come with certain tools which accommodate that kind of transformation. In our case, we didn't have the tools, so we needed to imagine and have this agility in our ways of working. When you have the tools already in place, but you don't know how to use them, you have to teach the people. But it's a shorter period of time. Yeah. So, but I was aware of that we are not there yet, but we will be there. And we imagined, these kind of scenarios together, and then, we created our own digital tools, and, the analog things were kind of forced into, but it still helped the thinking, Yeah. And I think this was the benefit of our exercise.
And I think it also had very positive effects for example, in the marketing team, in the different teams, because they started actually implementing part of the things. They shortened the cycles.
Yeah. And they reviewed many times. So there were many iterations. And if we cannot go back because we didn't do this kind of podcasts and recording, but it would be funny to see this kind of transformation in the past 2 years. By the way, this is also what I do regularly. I was kind of log this kind of the momentums, and I like to go back and imagine, okay, this is how we were, because it's for any of us, it's important to see, your kind of evolution.
Yes.
Or change. It doesn't. You always evolve, right? It's not like always evolve, but to see what you've been through in the past 2 years, 1 year, whatever. And I think we made a huge journey.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking also what you said earlier about the training, because we are very much aligned with what you said, and this is what our approach is as well. we've seen managers in other organizations who really want people to become agile, to change, even not agile, to change their ways of working, whatever. They hire consultancy company to train people 1, 2, 3 days, whatever, certify them. And then nothing really changes. People go to those trainings. A lot of money are paid to those consultancy companies. People are certified. During the training, people may be even excited. Maybe they like the material, maybe don't. We don't know. After the training, they say, yeah, it was a nice training. It was good. But they do not apply anything in their real work life, in their environment. And this investment in those trainings are essentially waste.
Yeah.
Essentially, they go down the drain. And
I have an example about this, a real story. I was working with a team, and at some point I understood they've passed the training in something. And I reviewed because after each training they had feedback collected. And I checked the feedback from that training, and it was like only tens, super great training. And about, let's say, 2-3 months have been passed, and I asked the guys, the people there, okay, I see you've done the training, I see you were super happy, you voted with tens. What did you implement from that training in these 2 months? The answer was 0. So what? I mean...
But let me bring another sport example. We love to see Barcelona with Messi, right? The million passes and so on. Like even won back in the days. But it took time. Some other teams started to copy, but not right after. So even if I put like the agile ways of working is that kind of tiki-taka Barcelona play. You don't get there, if you play different or you don't have the people with the skills, you need to teach them first. It's a gradual process, and this is what the program could bring you. So you gradually prepare, because the tactic is always good for if the team can really bring it to life, because agile is a great concept, like the tiki-taka, right? It's even efficient, it's proven, but it's so far ahead. I don't know how to get there because no one teaches me. No one shows me what training, what steps do I have to make to get there. So that's why you need a program, because then it can teach you. And this is what we've been through. And it was painful. Even for me, it was painful. I didn't like it. It's like, who likes to train? Like, I think some people might, but generally you like to play, right? Not to train. So it was painful, but it's the past, and now we can be very happy about it.
Yeah, I was thinking that I worked for another company that was also running an agile transformation initiative, and they also had OKRs. And one of the key results was how many people are certified Scrum Masters, how many people are certified Product Owners. Yeah. And they were looking at this, okay, now we have so many certified Scrum Masters. And I told them, guys, this is meaningless. Okay, so what that you have certified?
It's like the other, like deploy something. It will be deployed. Does it work? Is it being used? Is it liked by who will you design it for? It's not any more important because you deployed it, right? When deployment certification is the goal, people will be. It's a matter of money, right? If I give you double, probably you certify me without appearing, or I'm just making fun, make it up. So it's not. No. What is being implied and how it's being used, and I think that's this kind of deployment capability makes a difference between successful companies and unsuccessful, because many have the thoughts, right, to go this direction, but how you put in place is another question, and it's another quality, right? There are great footballers again who know the game. They were able to do everything with the ball, but they just can't pass it on. Just can't pass it on, that knowledge, because it's in there. They know kind of naturally how to do it, but they can't teach.
Exactly. Actually, we had another episode on the podcast with one of my former colleagues at the Coca-Cola company, Kim Gokche, and he explained that becoming agile and learning the rules of agile is easy. I can teach you the rules of the agile in a day, the same way I can teach you the rules of chess in 15 minutes. I can teach everybody the rules of chess in 15 minutes. Does it make them great chess players afterwards. Maybe not. Maybe they're going to be horrible. They need to, as you said, consistently try to learn tactics, to play many games, so they get to a certain level that they can claim they can play chess. It's same with transformation in organizations. What you explained. Okay, somebody needs to teach people the rules of the game, but somebody needs to train them alongside playing the game, applying the rules, so they can actually embed them,
Absolutely.
incorporate them.
Yeah, trainers usually.
And
if
I
you
don't
talk
claim
about
that
chess.
we are good in we are an exemplary agile. So in our context, we are doing okay, in my opinion. But if you come again and try to certify, I mean, you will find the gaps, right, to the ideal. So we are not an IT company either. So it's a commercial organization. We don't have a Scrum Master, right? So and these kind of things, but it works for us to what we need, and we are still ahead of a bit of the market, or So again, I don't claim that we are already Barcelona. No, we are even far from that, but at least we're successful in our
But you
situation.
keep going forward because even Barcelona are training every day, right?
Yeah.
They're not just, okay, we're already Barcelona, let's stop training.
Let's go to student city every day.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool. And at some point, all this preparation period eventually passed. The government, they said, okay, you can start now. And how did the actual digital transformation go? What are the nightmares and lessons learned, maybe, if you need to do it
I would go
again?
with some positive aspects. So we were not scared at all. So when it happened, we did not get scared because we were kind of prepared on managing this kind of change. So after this preparation, we were not scared. If it happens 1 year before, it would have been quite a challenge on the individual level. But then we got prepared. Okay, it's something new. We know it's much larger and much more complex, but we went in it with confidence. It's also very important that even you play any sports, you have to have some sort of confidence, because if you scared before the first whistle, no, it's not. You will probably lose, or with higher chances. So we had the confidence, and honestly, we did our part quite well. So what was expected from us locally, I think we lived up to these expectations. It's not what I say; it's what our global counterparts or external counterparts tell us, that yes, you perform very well, and you met our expectation in this regard.
And I think they were very positive, very well done steps in this journey. For example, the whole roadmap in the beginning was very clear for everyone. It maybe helped this confidence to exist. And the organization in the team, it was very agile-ish as well. Meetings every week, cycle of deliverables, and so I think it really had very nice, let's say, ingredient.
I agree, but we were learning on the go, right? So now it seems obvious, but if I go back in August, it was no. But that's agility, what agility brings, that we adopted very, very fast. And I would like to also point out the discipline of the team. And this is a Bulgarian discipline, which helped us a lot, because in these cases, it's it's the easy way out to say, oh, no, I need this feature, I need that feature. No, we kept it's under control, and it's also helped us to reach the deadline, because it's easy to deviate, and you need a whole lot of discipline to keep focused on delivering with the minimum feature, or the necessary features, but minimum features, and then you grow after. And here this is where we perform very, very well, in my opinion.
This is the other very, very usual, let's say, myth that we hear, and it's we have a strict deadline, we cannot go agile. We need to implement step by step the whole plan, and it's usually never happening because the plan is actually not perfect. Yeah,
It's so complex, you have to have this room for uncertainty and adopt along the way. I mean,
Yeah.
If we come with a waterfall project, and we will be now 25% ready, and by end of next year we have something. And it's not working. And here I also appreciated your contribution, because you were also part of this project, that you helped us, through this, especially after on the testing part, and point out, we have some shortcuts, or felt some shortcuts, because you had this experience. We don't, but it's not only you. Also, we had the global
exactly.
who helped us, and also my team again, grew very fast. And really form the team, because it's also very important that we have the same vision, and we strive to the same direction, right? So we help out each other. So we don't point at and blame. It's not my job. But if someone doesn't know, I know, or I have more time, then I step up and I help out. And this was very very exemplary in my opinion. So everyone stepped up and helped the other. And sometimes we were working a lot, because 2 or 3 people were in the same meeting before they learned that, okay, I need to go left and right, and you take this, and then it was like formulating naturally, but we had a good progress.
Yeah, and I think also what was important is that still there are enough people that had technical experience. Although that, let's say for the majority of the people, technical, digital is something kind of new. There were also enough people aware with what to expect when you're implementing software solution, because, for example, with us, that always helps for us when we do a digital project, because we are coming from digital, from IT, and we know what to expect. Sometimes these details are important, and if you're not practitioner as a background, sometimes you can have surprises.
Actually, this is something that you mentioned to us, that one of the reasons you chose us to work with you is that we have IT background.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is that?
I've been through, it's not my first agile training, right? So when I met you there, I had 2 before from business.
But ours is the best, right?
Of course. No, I mean, I even mentioned to you that even after that I had an agile training, identical to yours. Same examples, but again, you have a material, and then how you apply it, right? So I definitely wanted someone from IT, because business again can talk, but IT is more the heart, the walking the talk, right?
You mean the trainer?
Yeah, the trainer, because agile applies, for me, it can be also applied to the business world. You mentioned several times, but it has roots to some technology, right? And I knew that for me, technology will drive the project, and working with IT or people in technology. So we needed someone who understands that. And I guess this was a good approach, because you had this background, and that's why it was a bit painful, because with business people would have been easy. They let us deviate from the beginning, and especially I mentioned several times I appreciated Nikola was the bad cop in many cases, when he was like very rigorously, guys, this is not good. You have to do like this. Yeah, you need to do that until the boundaries are set and the frame is kind of set, and it was a great help for me, because I didn't know, right? So it's not my field of expertise. I never worked in that environment, but indeed, I would do again the same way, using someone from IT, from the field where it comes from. Not someone who heard about it or worked from the business side and talks nice and so on. That doesn't bring the real value. The real value, again, not to deploy, but have the outcomes. And the outcomes is that we are capable of working and achieving some results with the help of these ways of working, even if it's imperfect. If you just achieve 50% of the scheme, you are much better off than before.
Yeah.
Cool. And but you said that the journey is continuing. So how you see the future after all this?
I'm pretty confident, because we have this roadmap. We have, the good setup now in the team. We have the discipline. Discipline, not just discipline to work, but discipline is a set of rules. So we continue. We setting up now, the kind of the country blueprint, how to work with the global streams, and we use Agile in it. We use, Jira and so on, whatever tools helping this, and we think only in this regard, right? We don't use emails and just talk around. We have the right formalization. Is it perfect? Of course no. But at least there's a plan again, which we try to implement. We see whether it works or not. We already, after 1 month of kind of deployment, we had to modify slightly to adopt to real life. And then hopefully we can provide good service, which is not where we want it to be yet. But we also know that this is a progress. It's a process. I mean, we change our business from analog to digital in 6 months. So it's a huge change. It's such a complex environment, So it will be imperfect, but we would like to minimize this kind of time to perfection, or at least to...
And knowing that you're a very ambitious person, I doubt that you're ever going to say we're perfect.
No, I'm not dissatisfied. So if I look back, I'm very happy what we achieved. So because you have to acknowledge, and you have to have these check-ins with the team members that we achieved great, and we achieved greatly. Also with your help, and this is why I'm here, because we'd like to thank you guys for your contribution, because you were really part of this. We did it well. Could we do better? Maybe. I don't mind, honestly. It's perfect as it is, because we secured the strength and the position, the market. We have happy customers. They intend to come with us. We have a working product which we will improve, and of course we have the roadmap and the plan to improve, how to improve, and this is thanks to these ways of working.
Okay. Can you? I'm not sure if you have prepared or you have on top of your mind. What would you say are the top 3 nightmares you went through, maybe personally as a manager, during this period of transformation?
For us, nightmares. I think this dependency is very difficult when it's not in your hand. I would say that is quite hard to digest for me, because I like to control things. But when the dependency grows over a certain percentage, is difficult, especially when you have to rely on collaborators, and then you open a box and there's like more skeletons or more boxes behind, and you just open, there's something new pops up. So this kind of level of uncertainty, the time constraint, the uncertainty, and what I mentioned first, the
Dependencies.
This for me was the 3, and it still is, because we haven't finished. So, and we have a very tough 6 months ahead, but you need to adapt to this. There's no other way. You need to accept it. But but that's why I wanted to also start well in time, so at least I take this kind of off. At least the people, they feel more comfortable, because the most important, if you can do things on your terms. Because if you wait too much, or you hesitate too much, you don't go left and right, and just stay where you are, then the change will come and you're absolutely off guard. And now you're not on your terms, but on someone else's terms, or your competitor terms, or somewhere like that. And you don't have that kind of decision in your hand. And for me, it's also a difficulty, and I would like to minimize it or take it out of the equation, absolutely. So that's how I see it.
I love what you're saying, basically. There is this notion of, not sure if you have heard of it, the burning platform idea, when a company decides to change. So they compare it, there are 2 types of organizations. First organization is what you're describing, what you've done. There is going to be a challenge. You're going to have to change sometime, but you prepare well in advance and you invest in that. The second company type is the one that changes when the shit hits the fan. When there is the burning platform, people need to abandon the ship or jump in the water or whatever. They need to put the fire out. And the first approach is much more successful.
And it suits the Bulgarian mindset much better because Bulgarians, they really plan very well. No, that's my learning. Super good. But under stress, it really they have difficulties to work under stress. There are cultures which work super well under stress.
Yeah.
Bulgarians but they like to plan. So my advice is that please do this planning with the team, and they will do their best, and they do well, and they prepare well. Even if they disagree, they still prepare well, and they do their best. And in your cultures, guys, that's my learning. That you have good skills in preparation and delivery as well. But you have to have that time. If that time is shrunk and just hit, then people freeze and mistakes happen, and then it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant because people don't like to make mistakes. And maybe this was one of the big hurdles we need to overcome, that it's okay that maybe it's uncertain, and you make mistakes. It's okay. Sometimes you make mistakes, but people are afraid of making mistakes. Maybe it's, I don't know, very rooted in the culture. They don't like to take this kind of risk.
It's even not really mistakes. It's more like I'm not sure that the result will be what I expect.
Exactly.
It's not really a mistake. It's just you try to do something and the result is not the expected. Okay. It's not a you do something and you make a mistake,
And also, you remember I also mentioned this to you guys. If Bulgarian knows 99%, it's 99% sure, and there's 1% of uncertainty, I'm not so sure, but super good experts. Some other cultures, 30% sure, 70%, yeah, we'll do it. and I said, but you are really, there's no one else who can do it better than you. Yeah, but okay, just go for it. That's good enough. No one knows better than you, so we are behind you and we rely on you. Just do it. And now we adopt to this. And I think that you need to have a lot of positive reinforcement to ensure people that that's fine. And you are the best we have, or anyway, maybe you're the best in the country or even the world for that. Because you guys have really some good experts locally, which might not get exposed or got exposed. Also, you are good trainers. You do agile very well.
Yeah. So I think it's really nice summary and kind of conclusion. So we want to thank you for your time today, and in general, we have
a gift to you to give you. But before that, I would say that it was really a pleasure to have you here. I'm certain that many of the people who are now liking and subscribing enjoyed this episode, and they have a lot of things to take from you as lessons learned and as approach to work with people, to gain trust, to set vision, to set clarity about goals, about constraints, to drive transformation. All these things I think are gold, because people are not able to just take them from somewhere. Hearing story coming from you and how you explain it, I think is the most valuable. But yes, we have a gift, as we mentioned. This is modest one, but still something to have to remember the podcast. And
thank you guys.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah. And when there is a nightmare at work, just have a coffee or something.
Or give it to someone. Now this week you are the nightmare. I mean, to make sure that everyone knows.
Yeah, of course, we are wishing you no nightmares, so only success stories and good stuff to happen.
And guys, thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you for this conversation. I also enjoyed it. And good luck for you and good luck with your podcast. And I hope that more and more people will listen to you, what you have to say, and also trust you with your services if you like. So thanks again. It's happy to be here.
Thank you,
Thank
Gabor.
you, Gabor. Everyone,
Olajos Gabor.
Yes, exactly.
everyone, if you want to receive such nice content more and more, please subscribe, share, comment. If you leave a comment or question, we're going to address it to Gabor and we'll come back with an answer. So be active in the channel, and in this way it will get to more and more people.
Cheers.
Bye.